Tonight at 6 o'clock, here's a live look downtown. Cool and clear across central Indiana right now. But looking ahead, snow is headed our way.
All right, we are timing out the arrival starting overnight and continuing into tomorrow morning. And that's why we're tracking tomorrow as a weather impact alert day.
Yes, a big change from yesterday today and even more tomorrow.
Yeah, we're down 15 to 20 compared to yesterday at this time, and this time tomorrow there will be snow and it will be sticking in some places. So we do want to make sure you're aware of the weather impact alert day for tomorrow. That's the when. Cold all day. The strongest wind and snow bursts will happen from early afternoon through the evening hours. Those impacts include 40-plus-mile-per-hour wind gusts, low visibility when the snow is heavy, wind chills in the teens and 20s. What you need to do, have those heavy coats handy and expect some slow travel, especially tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. What you see on radar coming our way is relatively light in the form of some sprinkles and a few flurries over the next couple of hours. We'll see that with Future Track 13 overnight. A few flurries and a few snow showers for the morning drive. We don't think this causes any issues. However, the late afternoon evening drive, this is what we're going to be dealing with. A large area of steady to at times heavier bursts of snow. This will be enough to overcome the fact that the pavement is warm. So we may end up with some slushy roads and the potential of a couple of inches of snow on the grassy areas, all headed our way tomorrow.
All right, thanks so much. And in preparation, INDOT tells 13 News it already has trucks out on the roads ahead of the incoming snow. And there are plans to bring in even more drivers tonight, working the shift overnight into the morning. You can track the plows and trucks along with which interstates are being treated by heading to 511indot.org or check road conditions through INDOT's TrafficWise website.
Tonight at 6, the Indiana Attorney General is demanding information from companies that he suspects of engaging in human labor trafficking.
And one of the targets of his investigations is in Logansport, the Tyson's food plant. Rich and I live in studio tonight with the latest legal action by Todd Rokita in his campaign against illegal immigration here.
So Rokita has sent legal notices to at least 7 organizations that are called Civil Investigative Demands. He wants information that he suspects will show human labor trafficking of immigrants. The Indiana Attorney General says his office believes that Tyson Foods may have information relevant to an investigation concerning human labor trafficking. His office also sent civil investigative demands to at least 6 other organizations in Logansport, Evansville, and Seymour.
What we suspect is that businesses, in conjunction with nonprofit entities, are incentivizing, acting like magnets for these illegal aliens as they come over the border to place them in low-paying work. Tyson Foods did not respond to our request for comment. Rokita says the company has until December 4th to respond to his office. We're looking at their practices, and particularly nonprofits and business practices, to see if they're creating an indecent nuisance or if they're in violation of the Deceptive Sales Act. So quite honestly, we're creatively using those statutes and apply them to this issue. Berry Global, a plastics company in Evansville, also received the demand. So did organizations that help immigrants and refugees find jobs and integrate to their communities, like Tent Partnership for Refugees and God is Good in Evansville.
It is a direct attack on our immigrant neighbors and our community as well, and the corporations that partner with other community-based organizations that do work in the immigration sector, especially because a lot of these individuals have a legal work authorization.
The Immigrant Welcome Center in Indianapolis is not directly involved, but worries about the impact.
It's really going to shy these companies away, whether if it's getting involved in the community work or hiring our migrant population because they don't want bad PR or to be attacked like they have already been.
And I talked to the Logansport school superintendent this afternoon. That's another organization that received one of these demands. Their demand had 18 questions, some of them multi-part questions asking for information about immigrant students. So now they're asking for an extension to gather all this data on more than 500 students over the past several years. They're not a target of the investigation, but Rokita wants this information to help his investigation against these companies.
Yeah, trying to establish the metrics there of families in those communities.
Right.
All right, Rich, thanks so much. IMPD just announcing the arrest of a 35-year-old man for the 2023 murder of his wife on Indy's southwest side. Police tell us they worked with the U.S. Marshals Task Force to track Seth Smith Robinson to Tennessee. He's now charged with the murder of Erica Pedroza, who was found dead in a home near County Line and Trotter Roads. He's now being extradited back here to Marion County for a first court appearance.
Tonight, a dozen people are under arrest after a massive drug sweep across several counties here in central Indiana.
The months-long investigations led to the arrest of people accused of being involved in drug trafficking organizations. Karen Campbell is here to share what DE agents found. Karen?
Well, those agents, they seized meth, fentanyl, cocaine, and marijuana. And with the help of local law enforcement, the raid spanned 4 counties, including Marion, Hamilton, and Johnson. Now, Special Agent Daniel Schmidt, he's with, of course, the DEA. He says the drug problem here in Marion County is the worst he's ever seen. And the drug traffickers, they span all age groups.
They're organized. Their methods are constantly changing. So we have to just keep doing what we can do on this end to go after them and just try to do what we can do to annihilate them. And that's really our goals. We're not looking to go soft on this stuff.
Yeah, and Schmidt also tells us that there are organized groups here in central Indiana that have direct ties to the cartel. So that's something else that agents are working to tackle.
We know you'll continue to follow it for us. Karen, thanks so much.
Okay.
An Indianapolis woman who crashed into a West Side house, injuring a mom and her 1-year-old child, just learned her sentence. That crash took place back in January of 2023 near I-465 and Washington Street. Police say Ashanti Jones was driving a stolen car when she hit the home, then took off. Jones pleaded guilty to leaving the scene of an accident and was sentenced to 473 days of probation, 48 hours community service, and must pay restitution. Now, how much she has to pay will be decided at another court hearing in January.
IMPD is now pushing to install traffic cameras to curb reckless driving across the city. And the only problem is that the cameras they want are banned by Indiana state law. Tonight, our Marion County reporter Lauren Kostick sits down with the city's police chief and talks about his new push for legislative support.
IMPD Chief Chris Bailey is looking to add red light and traffic cameras here in Indianapolis, saying it would help with traffic enforcement and reckless driving. But first, he needs the General Assembly to sign off.
The chief calling for bold action in a new op-ed published in the Indy Star after a troubling rise in dangerous driving. In it, saying traditional enforcement isn't enough anymore. Now looking at technology to help curb the deadly trend.
And part of that could include, at least in a test phase, red light cameras, speed cameras, those type of things to try to incentivize people to slow down.
Currently, those cameras are prohibited under state law, something IMPD is petitioning to change. The cameras capture a picture of the vehicle and license plate. If caught speeding or running a red light, a ticket is issued to the owner. Over the next few months, the chief plans to work with lawmakers in hopes of giving officers another tool to make Indy's streets safer.
Now the next legislative session starts in January, with lawmakers already arriving at the State House this week. In Indianapolis, Lauren Kostick, 13 News.
Cold and snowy Thursday. I'll show you when the heaviest will fall in your forecast.
Plus, turning a family home into a mixed-use village.
We're going to walk you through this unique proposal that's taking root now in Johnson County. But first, Indiana State Democrats are calling for change after the Senate's minority leader is accused of sexual harassment.
Tonight, they point to problems in the State House leading to Greg Taylor's re-election. That's next.